My name is Starla Moore. I'm a business coach, I'm an Etsy SEO expert, and I'm a manager at a pretty cool site called eRank.com that you might be familiar with if you've ever needed to perform keyword research. And today I'm answering your most common Etsy SEO questions. Let's do it. Does costs changing affect our SEO listing optimization? No, not at all. When it comes to what I call the algorithmic totem pole, the unique listing factors that influence your rank and search on Etsy include your title, your tags, your attributes, and your descriptions in that order. And a little side note on Etsy descriptions, we actually learned during Etsy's latest Etsy Up event that Etsy does not use descriptions for query matching.
For a long time, we didn't look at description text, but over the last year or so, we've been looking at it a little bit more concretely. We look at the first 150 characters because we know when a buyer looks at description, they're probably going to read those. We pull out many of the same things that Ratish was talking about, styles, material, sizings. And we don't use it for candidate matching, so that query matching phase, but we do use it to help understand if a buyer has a particular affinity toward a particular style. We might use that to help rank that item up or perhaps down, depending on their personal interests.
Which basically means that they're likely using our descriptions for context only. This is important information to know because it means that overly keyword optimizing your descriptions isn't as important as we thought, for Etsy search specifically. But back to your question. Factors like pricing, processing times, materials, and photos have no direct influence on Etsy search ranking. So these things are typically safe to edit when necessary. If I updated my listing photos, pricings, and description and still getting 0 views, how long should you wait after you made these updates to change either the tags or title? After 1 day? 5 days? 90 days? While there's no real black and white time frame for when keywords should be changed, I'm a big fan of 4 months, which is your standard listing renewal window on Etsy. We have to remember that Etsy's algorithm takes time to decide what it is that you're selling and who they should be showing those listings to. And between a window of anywhere between 60 to 90 days, Etsy is constantly moving your new listing around, showing them to new audiences and trying to get a better idea of where those listings should rank. And obviously, changing your tags and titles every single day can disrupt this process. So if you've got a listing that isn't performing after around 4 months, it's probably safe to reevaluate your keyword strategy. Can you also please share your views on how we should use keywords for multiple listings in the same category? Do I use the same tags, including focus keywords, for all of the 40 listings, or do I use completely different 13 tags for each listing? It's totally fine to use some of the same keywords across multiple listings, assuming that they're relevant to your item. There's a myth that using the same keywords across multiple listings can cause you to compete with yourself in search, which is totally nonsensical and could only be possible if sellers were shown once in search for single keywords, which isn't true. On Etsy, you can rank for the same keywords over and over again. And if someone was searching for a specific type of product, wouldn't you want that search page to display as many of your listings as possible? So yes, it's totally fine to use similar keywords across multiple relevant listings. In fact, we have reason to believe that it may actually help Etsy to better understand what your shop is all about. My shop has done astoundingly badly in just over a year's time. I've made 4 sales. Should I just make a new shop and start over? So a few months ago over at eRank, we actually ran a survey of real Etsy shoppers where we asked them if the time that a shop has been open influences their willingness to shop from that store. In that survey, 25.9% of shoppers said that a shop's age was very important, while 41.2% said shop age was only somewhat important. And 32.9% said that the age of a shop was not important to them. With this in mind, a year on Etsy isn't long at all. And while there's no right or wrong answer, there's no algorithmic benefit for starting over again. So if the age of your shop matters to you, feel free to make a new account. But in terms of ranking or your potential to succeed on Etsy, your past history on the platform likely won't have any impact. Starla, how important is alt text in the photos? For your visually impaired customers, very important. With alt text, it's important to understand why it exists. That way we can ensure that we're using it for its intended purpose, which is to aid visually impaired shoppers who rely on screen readers in order to navigate online.
I'm a blind person who has been using screen readers, braille writers, other adaptive technologies since my childhood. A screen reader converts what's on a computer screen into information that can be displayed through synthetic speech or braille output. And what it does is it cleverly determines what's on the screen and presents you that information in a way that would allow for efficient navigation of these pages. So I have a couple graphics on this page.
Mark Sutton hands on a MacBook Pro image.
So the first one is well described and uses an alt tag to describe what that graphic is all about. Now we go to the next graphic.
Reader 042116.jpg.
Much less useful.
Imagine this. A visually impaired shopper is scrolling through Etsy looking for a gift for a loved one. They type in a few keywords only to discover that very few listings on that search page have optimized their alt text. Every other listing is invisible to this shopper. So if you're one of the only shops who's taken the time to optimize your listings for the visually impaired, you become the listing that isn't invisible. When filling out your alt text, I recommend pretending that you're describing your listing photos to someone who's blind. You're acting as their eyes. So describing things like color, detail, size, and texture is important for helping those who would otherwise not be able to see your product photos the same as your average shopper. And if you need a little extra help with Etsy SEO, or you want to learn the criteria that Etsy uses to rank listings in search, I recommend grabbing my free Etsy SEO toolbox. It's probably the most valuable freebie that I currently offer, and it comes with everything that you need to both perform keyword research and to track your progress. That's all I have time for in today's video, but please feel free to post your own questions in the comments below so I can include them in future videos. And as always, with a little science, a lot of data, and some help from a trusted Etsy SEO expert, you'll be well on your way to Etsy success. Cue the funky lo-fi beat.